Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming your hosts, Rabbi Dov and Rabbi Aaron, and our guest tonight, Yoseph Haddad.
Good evening and welcome to Close Encounters number 3. This is our third event and the momentum has just been building and I can already feel the energy tonight. I'm Rabbi Aaron. Hi Dov, how are you?
I'm very good. You know what? It's actually lovely to see that by now we've got to our third event. We've actually managed to coordinate our wardrobes. Because our ties, we both put on blue ties. We didn't know about this before. This is the first time we're seeing each other's ties. So well done. I think that's quite a feat that we've managed to do this.
I know, especially thinking that it's blue and we're going to be doing an Israeli theme this evening. So it's in perfect coordination.
There's a lot of subconscious thinking going on there. But Aaron, you know what? As it's the third show, I thought we would tell our viewers, that really this isn't a two-man show because there's someone else behind the scenes. And I know he likes to stay behind the scenes, but what do you think about asking Adam to come on?
Come on, Adam. Everyone would like to see who really runs the show. Come on, just for a minute, let everyone see the real person who gets this going.
Oh, very good.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see you.
Hi, everyone. This is the man who makes it all happen. The man, Rabbi Edwards. I think we deserves a round of applause here.
Yeah, round of applause. Thank you, Rabbi Adam.
I prefer to be back screen, everybody. Bye. Enjoy the evening.
See you.
Thank you. And I just lost that bet with you, Aaron.
I know.
Come on.
To be honest, Rabbi Edwards, we were prepared for you not to show, and we were going to show you anyway, but did show, so I've seen you in person. Okay, enough of this dilly-dallying. Tonight's guest is someone, oh, there we go. Thank you, Ellie, a clap for Adam. Enough of this dilly-dallying. Tonight's guest is someone with a real story, a real energy, a real passion, and a real excitement. Go on, Dov, tell us a little bit more about him.
So I think really what's unique about tonight is that we view Israel, and often we look at it, I have to say, living in England, we feel a little bit like outsiders. We comment, every Jewish person knows how to run the world, and especially the Arab-Israeli conflict. But the reality is we feel like a bit like we're outsiders. And the truth is, when we think of the Arab world, we're definitely outsiders as well. So tonight, our guest, Yoseph Haddad, has a unique inside view of the Israeli-Arab conflict. And it's a pleasure to meet, to welcome Yoseph Haddad onto the show tonight. Hi, Yosef.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I am very delightful to be here with you guys. And with this kind of energy, I'm already filled up with energy as well.
Let's bring it on. You're looking sharp, Yosef. You're looking sharp. I think the next step for you is going to be a fashion line. You look the part.
I don't have a blue tie though, but I can tell you for sure I got my blue color here as well. So the theme is Israeli and Israeli Arab, so it's going to be very interesting.
Amazing. Where are you, Yosef? Where are we talking to you from in Israel?
Right now, I'm talking from my home in Nazareth, the biggest Arabic city in Israel. Just a few details about this amazing city. It's actually, as I said, the biggest Arabic city, and the population here is around 80,000 people, where 70% of them are Muslim, 30% Christians, but we can see that in a daily base, we have Jewish people coming from all over the area and even from the center of Israel and the south of Israel during the weekends. And there's an amazing food, good knafi, good hummus. So anyone here coming to Nazareth, you're more than welcome, and I will be hosting you as well. So come on.
Lovely. Very good. I'll give the hechsher. I'll come around and give the Catholic symbol.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. Do you know that in some several places in Nazareth, although they are, owned by Arab Israelis, they have hechsher, kashrut for it because they want Jewish people to come and eat it with full hechsher. So we're talking about coexistence. We're gonna talk about it. So we're gonna talk about and see some examples like this.
Very nice.
Amazing. Well, Yosef, listen, I've seen some of your clips. I can already feel your energy live here from the few minutes I've met you. Now, you're a very unique person. You're very special. Miyuchad, you're unique. You're a very proud Arab and a very proud Israeli. It's something I've never seen before, and I think many of us have never seen before. And I think everyone is curious. We just want to hear, what's your story? If you could share with us, take your time. How did it start? And tell us a little bit about you. We're waiting to hear.
All right. So basically, before I start and explain how I arrived to do what I'm doing today and to be a proud Arab and a proud Israeli, I must tell you that I am unique in a way that I speak out loud. But trust me, I'm not so unique in terms of there's a lot of people like me. The only difference is they are talking, they are not talking, and I'm talking out loud. And this is something that we will corroborate more on in the further with the lecture, but with the conversation actually. But it was very important for me to share it with everyone right now and saying that the only difference between me and others is that I speak out loud. The rest, not so much. And we will see, and I will explain why also. Why the reasons of a lot of Israeli Arabs that they are not really talking. Now, as for my personal story, I must to understand how I arrived to do what I'm doing today. We have to go back literally to the point where I was born, and I was born in the biggest mixed city in Israel, which is Haifa. And I'm telling you why the name of the city, because you will understand shortly how the fact that I was born in the biggest mixed city in Israel, in Haifa, literally affected my life. So few years later, I moved to Nazareth. So I was raised in Nazareth, and I live today in Nazareth as well. Now, the reason why I started my story telling those two informations, that I was born in Haifa, raised in Nazareth, is because Haifa is the biggest mixed city in Israel. You have Druze, you have Jewish people, you have Christian, you have Muslims, all over. And Nazareth is the biggest Arabic city, but surrounding Nazareth, you have Afula, you have Migdal HaEmek, you have Nazareth Elite, today they call it Nofa Galil. So eventually, I grew up in a diverse sectors and friends from all over the sectors in Israel. I found myself literally being having friends from Jewish friends, from Christian friends, Muslim friends, Druze friends, and I remember that we would play football together. Now, usually when I speak to Americans, I would say you call it soccer, but since I'm talking to people from London, we call it football as well. So I'm very happy because I never understand Americans when they call football soccer and then they call the handball football. Never understood that. Anyway, back to our story. So that's what we used to play. We used to play football in a neighborhood called Kiryat Eliezer. And I remember as a kid finishing school and I'm running home to do my homework and then take the bus from Nazareth to Haifa just to go and play football with my friends. By the way, back then, we're talking about 20, 25 years ago, a bus from Nazareth to Haifa, it was like 20, 25 minutes. Today, with the traffic, it's like 25 hours. But that's the big difference. So we used to play football together, and we really didn't care. We didn't care if we if we were Jewish or you're Christian or you're Muslim or you're Druze. We would just play football together, pass, try to win, attack, defend. And we found ourselves after that growing up outside also from the football. And then we thought about it and we said the common thing between us that we really like football. But you know what? There is another thing that is coming between us, and I'm sure everyone right now is thinking, I know it. The fact is that we are all Israelis. It doesn't matter if you're Jewish, it doesn't matter if you're Druze, Christian, or Muslim. The other common thing between us is that we are Israelis. And that's how I grew up. You understand? Now, guys, what happens when you reach the age of 18 in Israel?
Army.
The army. So my Druze men friends and my Jewish friends, they are obligated to go and serve in the army. As an Arab, I'm not obligated to go and serve. And I asked the question, why? Now, I am not dumb. I understand. I know the answer. I know why. But I still ask the question, why? Because eventually, we are all Israelis. And the last time I checked, we call our army the IDF, not the JDF. It's not a Jewish defense force. It's actually an Israeli defense force. And Israel, you have Arabs and Jews. So by actually saying that, and the fact that I was through my whole teenage life growing up alongside all the sectors in Israel, understanding that we have different society from what you see on social media and on the news, I've decided to go and volunteer to the army. I decided to go not only volunteer to the army, I decided to go and volunteer to the Golani Brigade. Now, if you ask me why the Golani Brigade, two reasons. One, it is the best brigade in the IDF. And second, people say that I'm crazy. So maybe it is. Maybe it is. Anyway, so I remember me calling the recruiting officer in Tiberias and saying, hey, I'm an Israeli Arab and I want to go and serve in the army. But I have a demand. I'm only willing to serve in the army as long as you recruit me to the Golani Brigade. I would never forget that. The reaction of the recruiting officer was like, he was like on the phone, he says, hey, this is not a grocery shop, it's the IDF, you cannot pick what you want. And I said, hey, I don't have to go and serve, I can go to South America. Anyway, to short this part of the story, eventually a few days later they called me and said, listen, if you pass all the exams, we will recruit you to Golani. You got what you want. I don't know why you are eager to go to Golani, but hey, maybe you are crazy, but congratulations. If you pass all the exams, you're in. And I did pass all the exams, all the health exams as well. And I did got what I want, which is to be part of the Golani family. And I started my way as a fighter. But I want to go back just 1 month before I was supposed to start my my service in the IDF. I was recruited on the 15th of November 2003. 1 month before, or actually, yeah, it was like 1 month before, a terrible event happened. And I'm going to tell that story because a lot of people asked me, are you sure you're doing the right choice? Are you sure you are talking and doing the right thing by joining the army? And I said, I know for sure that this is the right decision to do. And then the guys would tell me, I am not so sure about it. Maybe you're not doing the right decision. 1 month before I was supposed to start my service, as I said, a terrible event happened in Israel, in Haifa specifically, where because of that event, if I was sure, now I was double reassured that my way is the right way. Because unfortunately, on the 4th of October 2003, a female suicide bomber came to the Maxim restaurant in Haifa, and she blew up the restaurant, ended up killing over 17 people. 4 of them were Israeli Arabs. If I needed something to be more, or to understand more that the fact that terrorism doesn't really care if you are an Arab or Jewish, as long as you're Israeli, you are a target for terrorism. By the way, tens of people were injured. Most of them were Israeli Arabs as well. So I knew, again, when I'm in the IDF, I'm actually defending not the Jewish people, I'm defending all of the Israeli society, Jewish and Arab. And with that spirit, I went and started my way in the army. I was among the first, also to be among the few to become a commander. And I'm gonna say it as it is, guys, because a lot of people ask me if Israel is an apartheid country. And if they ask you this, I want you from now on to say, if Israel is an apartheid country, how come then I met this guy, me, who is an Israeli Arab, who was a commander on the Jewish soldiers in the IDF? So I want you to tell them that and to stop BS about Israel being an apartheid country. And then you can send them to me and I will continue with them teaching very well. Don't worry. Anyway, so this is something that it's very important for me to tell you guys, to say it as it is. An Arab Israeli, a commander in the IDF on Jewish soldiers. Actually, they did what I said, what I commanded them to do. But this is like a small thing that I wanted to talk about, because specifically when we're going to go and speak about the Hasbara, about what we speak about to Israel, this is some of the tools that we use and I use specifically. Later on my service, and I'm going to jump 3 years later, just 2 months before I was supposed to finish my service, I participated in the Second Lebanon War. So back to the first question, where they asked me if I am doing the right thing by going and serving the IDF, or they asked me questions such as, how can you fight Lebanese Arab while you're Arab yourself? And I would always say, I'm not fighting Lebanese Arab, I'm fighting Hezbollah, which is a terrorist organization. And get these guys, and you know what? Maybe most of you don't even know that. But in the Second Lebanon War, 44 civilians were killed by Hezbollah rockets. 44 civilians. 50% of them, 50% of them were Israeli Arabs. I can assure you that most of you never knew this information. 2 of those were kids, babies from my city here. On my city, while I was fighting in Lebanon against Hezbollah, I was fighting for my city, Nazareth, because rockets fell down on my city, injuring people here. So when anyone asks me, how can I do that? I would say, oh my God, I would do it again and again and again. I'm saving and I'm protecting my country, my society, my city, my community. Nobody can tell me that as an Arab, I'm fighting in an Arab country. No. They don't really care. They're dropping missiles on us. They don't really care if you're Arab, if you're Jewish. You're in Israel. We're going to kill you. You're a target. Okay? So this is something that for me was very important to pass you guys to understand that. I'm very proud. Each second and second, I was very proud on serving my country. And even when something terrible happened to me as well. Because during that terrible, terrible war, I lost soldiers, I lost friends, I lost commanders. My commander was Rui Klein, and I'm not sure, but if you heard about his story, is this brave hero soldier commander who jumped on a grenade just to save his crew while he's shouting Shema Israel. Imagine this: you get thrown a grenade towards you. It's already past 1-2 seconds. You have less than 1 second to decide what you're gonna do, and he decided to cover the grenade with his body to save his crew. This is, when people say that I'm a hero, I would say I'm not even close. A hero in my eyes is Rui Klein, because he sacrificed his life to save his crew. But that's the spirit of the IDF and of Israeli people. So this is something amazing. And as for my personal story, unfortunately, 2 days before ceasefire, on the 10th of October, I was badly injured myself when in the morning, it was about 5 o'clock in the morning, 5:30, when we heard a big explosion. We were in a house, in a shelter, and from the explosion, we understood that something happened. Immediately, we got information that a tank, an Israeli tank, our forces tank, that was very close to us, about half a mile, was hit by an anti-tank missile, and all the crew was badly injured. We had to go there and immediately evacuate the crew. I was the closest force. So we got the order to go and evacuate them. So we went there. We did that as fast as we could. The crew was totally the tank was totally damaged. The crew were injured really badly. So eventually we had to evacuate them to a chopper so they can get treatment, very fast treatment in Israel. Otherwise, they would be dead. Guys, unfortunately, some of our brave soldiers died because we didn't evacuate them in time, not because we didn't want to, because we didn't have the possibility. So we didn't want that to happen with that crew. So we did everything we could, and we did evacuate them to a chopper. The plan was within 30 to 35 minutes to end the mission. Unfortunately, you plan something, but you get something in a war zone, so it took us a bit more. And we found ourselves going back instead of still at night before daylight. We found ourselves literally 7 o'clock in the morning going back to our shelter. We were like sitting ducks, and Hezbollah, we knew that Hezbollah is going to wait for us to ambush us. We tried to take measures and cautions as much as we could, but unfortunately they did spot us, and they decided to shoot the same anti-tank missile that they shot towards the tank. They decided to shoot it at me. Now I'm a bit lucky, because if the rocket itself would hit me, I would have been exploded to 1,000 pieces, but it just bypassed me a few centimeters, and then it hit a wall that was very close to me. From the explosion, I flew in the air and I landed on my belly. I immediately understood that I was injured. I could share with you that my first thought was actually, and you should imagine this, I am lying on my belly. I'm feeling the blood coming from my face. I feel that I'm injured badly, and I'm thinking, oh my God, what I'm going to tell my mom now, because she told me, "Dir Balak, don't get injured." But so this is like was my first thought, and then I turned on my back to understand that my foot was cut off. So I immediately start shouting. My foot was cut off. I remember that my Mempe, my commander, came, and with my crew, all my soldiers, they evacuate me to a shelter. They give me the first aid, but then we needed to evacuate me. I lost a lot of blood, and they needed to evacuate me as fast as they could. Hezbollah knew that they're gonna evacuate me, so they were waiting as well for the evacuation. So while I was on the stretcher going to the worst chopper, they start shooting towards us RPGs. They shot at us, but our brave soldiers and commanders, they managed to rescue me, to bring me to a point where I was in the chopper, and then I went to the hospital. And from there, I started my new battle, my new war, which is to fully rehabilitate. After 1 year, and I do remember that 1 year where my doctor would come to me and say, "Yosef, listen, the fact that we managed to do this like this and now it looks good actually on you, it's a miracle, because literally people could say that they could have put a fist inside my face. The fact that we managed to reattach your own foot to your leg, that's a miracle number two. The fact that you had a hole in your other leg and we managed to close it, and a lot of miracles in terms of my medical situation." And he'd always say to me, "Listen, what we're seeing is that at the end of your rehabilitation, you're gonna walk, but you cannot limp." And I would look at at my doctor and would say, "Doctor, I am going to go back and play football." He would say, "Don't get your hopes up. The higher the expectation, the bigger are the disappointment." I would say, "I will go back to play football." So 1 year later, at my last review of my rehabilitation, I entered the doctor office. I swear to you guys, I didn't say even nothing. I entered the office. I had a football with me, and I started jumping the ball with my leg. Now he looked at me and he said, Yosef, I only said what I said just to motivate you." Now, guys, I'm telling you, I didn't know if I wanted to shoot it, to kick him or to hug him. So I think I did both of them. And since then, I started my life. My country always was beside me, the Minister of Defense, the Rehabilitation Minister of Defense, all the time. What I needed, they gave me. So you understand that the connection to my country was also strong as well. And I started my life like this, up to a point where I went and traveled and had my own business. Went and studied, went back and studied, and then started my way in a marketing research company. And up until 2 years ago, where I decided to stop everything because I thought that my society and my country needed some change because we're not going forward, we're going backward. And I've established this amazing organization, which called Together Vouch for Each Other. It's an Arab-Israeli organization. And when I say that, just to make you understand, the board of the organization is actually assembled from men and women, Christian, Muslim, Druze, and Jews. You don't see something like that. And our mission is literally to bring the Arab society closer to the Israeli society. We call for serving in the national service. Our motto is to serve the country while serving our community at the same time in the hospitals, in police departments, fire departments. And we want to take care of our main problems. Now, we are not a political organization, but unfortunately, our political representatives are not doing anything for us in terms of dealing with the violence against women, better infrastructures, better education, illegal weapons. We want to deal with that, and we want to actually cooperate with the offices in Israel, not to go against, but with. And one more thing we do, which is Hasbara. As minorities, as an Arab-Israeli organization, we go and we speak about Israel, the truth, which means everything. When there is something to criticize, we do that. But we also talk about all the misleading conceptions and the lies against Israel. And when it comes from Israeli Arabs, oh, trust me, guys, you have no idea the impact that we do in South Africa, in South America, in United States, Canada, and Europe. And it's amazing. And I have a bunch of examples, but I'm sure that there's also questions. So basically, that's what we really do. And that's my journey so far. And we have such an amazing job doing, connecting the Jewish and the Arab to be in an Israeli society. Tremendous programs that we do. So we are proud of it.
Unbelievable. Yosef, you want to show us a video or something?
Well, you know what? Let's go. Yeah, let's go for the Hasbara. We talk about it in a few. So let's see the video and we'll talk about it more.
Okay, cool. Okay, while we sort out the technical side of things, Yosef, it's much better to have you live. I mean, first of all, I have to compliment you. I don't know what the Americans are thinking, calling it soccer, football all the way. I love that. Your story was great, but that stuck out in the beginning. I wasn't going to forget that so quick. I mean, it was almost a roller coaster. Your story, there was the ups and the downs. It was. I mean, when you spoke about Roy Klein, it was like a moment for me. And I have to say, for me, what was coming up is, the contrast, the difference. In some parts of the world, some people are actually blowing themselves up to kill others. And I was just thinking, when you were saying it, it just came across the contrast of people actually blowing themselves up to save others. And I love how you call him a hero. But you're pretty brave yourself. I mean, you've stood up to so much, and it's so interesting. And because you're such an interesting person and you've got such an energy, I think we've got something special tonight, Dov. No, what's up tonight?
So Yosef, what we thought is, we've seen you stand up to any audience at all. So we wanted to see how you could stand up to our viewers. So what we wanted to do is just to put it out there, guys. Aaron and I have got a chance to ask Yosef a few questions. We want to give you the opportunity as well, okay? So, and I know that I'm bursting with questions to ask you, Yosef. The truth is, I met you a week ago, and I've been bursting since then. So I'm looking forward to this. And for all of our viewers, Adam's going to put at the bottom of the screen, if you would like to come on now live and ask Yosef a question, then message the phone number at the bottom or email to closeencounters@c.uk.net. Tell Adam your name and the outline of your question, and then we will get you on screen. We can't get everyone on air, obviously, we don't promise, but we will do our best to get you on air. So meanwhile, just to give us a couple of questions, the idea, just to give us the opportunity to ask a couple of questions. Yosef, one of the questions I'm thinking is, you say that there are others like you and, in the Arab world and everything. And I mean, your story and the clarity of your thought is I think, so refreshing to hear from my perspective. But tell me, what do your family think of you? Your nearest and dearest, whether it's parents or siblings, how do they cope with you?
Okay, so let's start with my family. I always say that without my family, it would be twice as hard to do what I'm doing right now. And I'm very lucky, and I appreciate my family in the way that they supporting my way and my cause, because it is not easy. We are doing something here which is to change the way, not people thinking, but the conversation, the talk, especially in the media, in the news, especially in the what we call it in the street talk. And I'm very lucky to have an amazing family. For instance, as I served in the IDF, my sister served in the National Service. My brother is going to serve in the Spokesman Department in the IDF, which is amazing. I have friends that, for instance, I always categorize my friends in 3 different categories. Those who really support me and appreciate the way I'm doing, and they say, we wish we could be brave as you to do it as well. Those that they say, this is your life, you do what you want, that's good. And those who are anti. Now, those who are anti, obviously, they're not my friends anymore, not because I didn't want to. They decided to not be my friends, which is also, this is their choice, and we are living in a democracy. And I always say, we're in a democratic country, you can do whatever you want. Thank God. And as for the other 2 categories, today they are saying that going now, if we had the possibility to go back and to the age of 18, and to decide if we'd go to the army or not, we probably would go with going to the army, because now when they grow up, they understand the meaning, at least not to the army, at least to the national service. So for me, my closest surroundings are very supportive, and I am really lucky about that. But on the other hand, I grew up like this, so I'm not very surprised.
Amazing. Gosh, you know something? It's actually interesting to hear that, because I had no idea before Dov asked you about your family. It could have gone either way. And in a way, I'm not surprised. If you've got a foundation from your family, it allows a person to be themselves. But moving a little bit outside of your family, I mean, I have a lot of respect for you for what you do. But there's got to be some people out there that are not very happy with you. Maybe just a little bit. Yeah.
A few, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, we're probably all pretty sure. I'm just curious. What resistance have you met? Have you had threats? Have people been, aggressive? Has anyone ever threatened to hurt you? Or how do you? Yeah, it's been.
Okay, so I'll tell you what. I want to answer this question, but I also have to give some clarifications. Okay.
Yeah.
The Israeli society, the majority of the Israeli society, are not racists. When I'm saying Israeli society, it's Arab and Jews. The majority of the Israeli society wants partnerships, wants the Arabs to be part of the Israeli society. They know they are not anti-Semitism towards Jewish, okay, the majority. Unfortunately, we have something that we call extremists from both sides. Now, guys, trust me when I tell you this, huh? I get threats from this side and I get threats from this side. Both of the extreme sides, on both sides, I get threats. Now, do you know when I realized that I'm on the right path? The moment that I realized and I understood that this side and this side are cooperating against us. Then I knew we are on the right path. Because what we are doing is actually we are proving to those on that side that saying that the Arabs, they never want to be part of Israel. They don't love Jews. Okay? We are actually proving for them that they are wrong. We are literally demolishing their agenda. We are showing them that as an organization, as an Arab Israeli organization, we want to be part of Israel. We want to be an integral part, and we don't hate Jews. In fact, we love Jews. Okay? And then we go for the other side, and we are actually demolishing their agenda, which means that all the Jews are racists and they don't want us here. And we are showing them that it's not true, because we are showing them that most of the Jews, the absolute most, the majority, they want to see the Israeli Arabs integrated very well in the Israeli society and to be part of the country, and they are not racist. The problem, guys, is that this side and this side, louder, stronger, more violent. But they are minorities in both sectors. Minorities. What we are trying to do here is actually to come and make the silent voice in both of the sectors to rise up and talk. That's why, if you remember, at the first minute when we start talking, I said, I am not unique. There's a lot of people like me. The difference is I talk out loud, they're not. And I will give you a crazy example. My Facebook page, I have almost, I think, over 36,000 followers, Jewish and Arabs. Okay? If you go to my Facebook page, you would only see Jewish people commenting. And the comments are unbelievable. Like 99.5% supporting comments. But you wouldn't see a lot of Arab comments. Why? So people from the Jewish community start asking, Yosef, you've been 2 years talking to us and telling us that the Arab, the majority, they are like this and this and that. So what's going on? Until the point where I was fed up. All of the messages, I'm talking about hundreds, if not thousands, I'm getting into by private messages, not on the public. All of them the same, almost the same texts. Yosef, finally, there is someone who's speaking, brave to talk. Sorry, we're not supporting publicly, but we don't want the mess. But just to let you know, we're with you. Now, did you know when I even had, the epiphany about it? My sister. Guys, my sister, she supports me not 100%, 1000%. She adores me in a way, even. I can tell you that. She would come and tell me, Yosef, I have to be honest with you. I've seen your post today. I start commenting. I'm so proud of you. You're like this and that. And then instead of hitting the enter, I start clicking the delete button. Delete. Because I said, I don't really need those extremists to come and start cursing me and my son and my husband. Just recently, she started to actually comment in public because she started to get brave, because she's seen that her brother and the community and the organization is succeeding of actually making changes. So she's become more brave, and now more people are actually commenting as well. But what I did is I've actually took a lot of those messages, put them in a one picture, deleted the names to keep their privacy, and I posted it on Facebook and I said, guys, You're talking about the Israeli Arabs. They're here. They're just not talking publicly. And then everybody literally start to understand, and they say, okay, now we understand more. And the only thing they said, we need to be patient. It is a process. It's not gonna happen like this. We're only 2 years, guys, and if you think that within 2 years you're gonna do this change, then you're delusional. Process like this, it takes time. And I would say always, to start a revolution, you need a one that brings another one, that brings another one, and another one, and another one, and that's what exactly we are doing. I started with myself, another one. Today we are hundreds in the organization listed, and thousands of followers.
Amazing.
So,
Yosef, I'm gonna, sorry for interrupting you for a second, but I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, okay? So this is Rabbi Dov. I'm taking the side of your average Israeli Arab, let's say, or from what you're saying, extremist maybe. You know, we hear stories, right? We hear stories about the way that the Arabs have been mistreated by the Israeli soldiers. They've been searched
you're talking
unnecessarily.
about the Palestinians.
Palestinians, yes, true.
We need
Sorry,
to
Palestinians.
divide.
Okay, that's true. Good point. A good point. But those people, I mean, firstly, as an Israeli Arab, have you ever experienced that? And secondly, what do you say to those people? Here you are, as an Arab yourself, telling them the Jewish people, you know, oh, they like Arabs, they're okay with Arabs, and then you get these people, they come to you with these stories. I'm sure they tell them to you, you know, and you hear these stories, and you know, what do you say to them?
Listen, I'm gonna answer in few parts, okay? Now, do we have racism here in the country? We do have racism. We're not running from that. We have to say the truth. But on the other hand, unfortunately, I say that there is racism as well in London and in the States, in all Europe, and in Canada and in South Africa. Guys, I was three months ago, I was in South Africa. That was the video that we were supposed to show. If it's working, maybe we should try to show it eventually. But I was in South Africa, guys. I mean, they are talking a lot of the BDS in South Africa. They are talking about Israel being racist. You should have seen what's going on in South Africa. I mean, we're not even close to their racism level, huh? They're like here in terms of where we are. But saying that, we do have racism, and I'm actually myself suffered from this racism. But it's not the majority, guys. Unfortunately, it's the minority, but the strong minority. And one more thing, which is very important. A lot of people talking about, and I'm going to refer as well to the IDF and the Palestinians, but I'm going to talk about the Israelis Arab first. A lot of people talking about the cops, how they treat the Israeli Arabs. But on the other hand, we are seeing evidence, and we are seeing cases of also Jewish people mistreated by cops. So it's not because they're Arab, it's not because they're Jewish. There are some stupid cops. It's not the spirit of the police, Israeli police. It is because of some stupid, I'm sorry for my language, but it's some stupid cops that they are really are not supposed to be cops, and they should be punished, okay? But to go and say that the Israeli police is racist, that's a big no. It's not. By the way, there is a lot of Israeli Arab policemen and policewomen. So in terms of that, you cannot say that. Now let's go to the IDF. You know what? A minute before the IDF. So what we do is we want to fix the problems, and we want to actually fix this racism here. And instead of going and complain, we are doing whatever we can do to have a solution for it. And part of this, and get this, the way we are fighting racism is actually by showing it in a different way. And I'm going to explain to you guys. Maybe 1 year ago, there was a big, huge anti-Semitism protest against anti-Semitism, a protest against anti-Semitism in Jerusalem. We decided, as an Israeli Arab organization, to go and participate in this anti-Semitism against anti-Semitism protest. We were the largest group to be at that protest, and I actually got the opportunity to speak. I started my speech by saying marhaba, which is hello in Arabic. We came from Nazareth Shfa'amer, from Turan, from Haifa, and people over there started getting, oh my God, Israeli Arabs are coming to protest against anti-Semitism. Now tell me how they will be racist after that. That's how we fight racism.
Wow.
You get me?
Amazing. Amazing.
I mean, Yosef, I'm listening and I'm just hearing. I tell you what, first of all, I just want to say something to the public. Guys, anyone out there who feels comfortable to come into studio and ask Yosef a question, this is your chance. I know people have been sending in questions. We're going to try and throw them at Yosef soon. But if anyone wants to feel safe enough, we'll send you the link to your phone and we'll get you here live to be able to ask your question. But this is what I want to throw at you, Yosef. Like, ever since I've grown up, ever since I'm like 2 years old, I can talk, I can hear. On the TV, I hear peace process, peace, 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 peace. As long as I live, they're talking about peace. Now, I can give my opinions from what I see on the news. I see a bit here, I see a bit there. You're someone who's got a little bit more inside knowledge. I want to hear from you. What winds you up? What makes you angry? Why there's no peace? Why do you think there's no peace yet?
Okay, before I get to this question, I must tell you, I have a problem. I cannot go on to another question without answering a full answer, because I do owe you guys an answer about the IDF and the Palestinians, and I don't run from any question. So I'm gonna answer shortly and then gonna refer to your question, because I have a lot of first information maybe to give you for the first time about what is the solution for the peace process. As for the IDF and the Palestinians, there's a saying in Arabic, and I'm gonna say it and I'm gonna translate it. Allah la yahakkim Arabi b'Arabi, which means we hope that God will never judge an Arab with another Arab. Okay? The meaning is that if the Palestinian people were dealing with any other army, they would suffer, really suffer. The IDF is the most moral army in the world. Yes, we do have some fools. We do have. But the IDF spirit is very far from those fools who actually, yeah.
What was the saying again? The saying?
The saying is, the Arab would say, Allah la yahakkim Arabi b'Arabi, which means may God not judge an Arab with another Arab. Okay? Because the saying is that if the Palestinian would have to deal with an Arab army from Syria, from Iraq, they probably would be slaughtered with the way they are acting and doing. And with the IDF, trust me, they are very far from being, at least in my opinion, there's some cases that we are too gentle. That's what I think. Especially when we're talking about terrorists, not with the civilians, with terrorists. We're talking about only terrorists. And yes, we do have in our army some fools, but they are literally small percentage. So, and I've seen, when I go and speak about it in the world, touring in every place, I would show facts about how the IDF is treating the Palestinians and how the media is taking one picture and making it a whole different stories. And we've been proving that a lot of times. That's my point in terms of what we're talking about the IDF. As for the peace process, I think everybody is looking at it in a different and a wrong way. And the wrong way, it's simple. In order for us to achieve a peace between the Palestinian and the Israelis, we should first have peace among ourselves. The peace is existing. It exists. The problem is the steps to make it up on the surface. It's very far from being there, and that's where we're entering.
What do you mean it exists, Yosef? What do you mean it exists, the peace?
Okay. The peace, so what I said is that the peace between the Palestinians and the Israeli, we cannot reach it without an inside peace. And the inside peace, that when I say it exists, I mean the coexistent, the partnership between the Israeli Arabs and the Jewish Israelis. The problem is that the Israeli Arabs are feeling the majority of the Israeli Arabs, they don't have any problem with the Jewish Israelis, and the majority of the Jewish Israelis don't have any problem with the Arabs. The problem is that we don't see it in terms of political, higher offices, and on the surface and a daily jobs and daily base of whatever social activities there is. I'm saying this because the solution for the Israeli Palestinian conflict is hidden with the Israeli Arabs. The Israeli Arabs are the solution for the conflict. Listen to me. Nobody talks about it. You may be hearing this for the first time. But to achieve a peace between the Palestinians and the Israeli, it's hidden within us, the Israeli Arabs. When the Israeli Arabs will be fully integrated, when the Israeli Arabs will be in the high offices, when the Israeli Arabs will be an integral part of taking the decisions, then and only then we will start seeing some progress with the peace process. Imagine this, guys. Okay? Imagine the foreign minister is an Israeli Arab. Imagine this, a proud Israeli Arab. And this foreign minister goes and speaks in Arabic with the Arab countries. Think about it. Think about it. When members of the Knesset, instead of sitting like the joint list in the opposition, but rather than sitting in the coalition, imagine sitting in the coalition, taking decisions, then we can see some progress in the peace process. So the actual step, it's not between the Palestinians and the Israeli. It's not between the UN or the South Africans or any organization or United States or any European country. It's here, guys. It's here in Nazareth, in Haifa, in Led, Rahat, Shamir. It's here. And when we start it from here and we go and we integrate,
Wow.
we will do the change.
I have to say,
Obviously.
Yosef, it's new. I have to say, I've heard lots and lots about the people. This is something new, you know. L'chaim, I have to say, this is something new, you know.
Definitely.
This is the message that we are trying to spread. But this is the steps that we are trying to do, and the support of you guys, by the way, from Europe as well, from United States, from all over the world, and obviously the Jewish community here in Israel. It is very essential. It's so important, guys, and you have no idea how much power we get as an organization when I go to my Facebook or Twitter account and I see or Instagram and I see how Jewish people are supporting this cause because they understand it. And when I explain it, they say, okay, we're with you.
Yosef, tonight here in Seed, we are starting the peace process.
There you go.
Okay.
We can share the prize. We'll share it with you, though.
Anyone who will join us, we will be so proud. It doesn't matter from Tel Aviv to London to Paris to New York.
Okay, so we're delighted. I think we have a guest here. Gershon, I believe, is got a question for you. Yosef, okay, so Gershon, go ahead.
Hi, Yosef. Thank you for making yourself available. I appreciate it. I was actually also born in Israel. Just a very quick question.
Yeah.
Sort of twofold. Do you believe during your lifetime there will be real peace between the Mediterranean and the Kinneret? And on the second part of the question, do you think the consequences to Jared Kushner's plan, the current annexing of the West Bank, is going to have long-term ramifications, or is that the beginning of the peace process? I don't think you're a prophet. I just want to know from an Israeli Arab where you think this is taking us.
Obviously, I'm not a prophet. Last time I checked, at least. And as for your questions, look, in terms of the deal of the century, I really believe that it's a good deal to start negotiating. It's not a good deal and that's it. It's just a good deal to start negotiating. I believe that eventually this deal, hey guys, look what this deal did. What this deal did is for the first time, people on that they are on the political map, on the right political map, they're actually agreeing to a Palestinian state, which is quite amazing and crazy. And on the other hand, what we're saying is that This deal will be very specific and will tell the Palestinians, this is what you need to do. That's the terms. You need to stick with it in order for you to get a state. So they have a chance to get a state. I personally tell you what I don't like about the deal. First of all, the triangle area. At no way Israel or the people that living in the triangle, such as Taibik, Farqasim, Jaljulia, Al-Fahim, they will give up their identity. No way. There's real identity. In fact, I'm gonna share with you a huge information. Just 1 week, no, 3 days actually, after the decision, or they announced the plan, a huge survey. It was done by one of the biggest Arabic Facebook pages in Israel, and they asked, would you give up your Israeli identity to have a Palestinian identity? Over 28,000 people answered this survey. And by the way, I always can share, if you want, I will send it to you to see it yourself. 28,000 people participated in the survey. 76% answered, we will never give up our Israeli identity. And let me tell you something. The other percentage, when it really comes, to talk about it, they would say also no. Don't worry. So what we're saying is that for this part of the deal, it's a big no. But we must understand that the Palestinians need. I always say the Palestinians, they never miss a chance to miss a chance, and unfortunately, now they have a chance to have a country, a state. Now they have a chance even to have East Jerusalem, their capital. And now they have a chance to call themselves a state, and the fact that the majority of the right political map are supporting this, I think this is something that it's a huge opportunity for them. Now, if they don't do that, eventually they would keep lose more land, and that's what we're seeing through the course of history. Because if you go back to 1929, when they decided how they're gonna split the country, it was 90% Palestinians and only 10% Israelis, and they missed the chance. And then we went to the Independence War, and then we went to the '67 War, the 6 Days War, and then we went to further and further and further. So they must start thinking and get these guys. The Gulf countries, Dubai, Qatar, Abu Dhabi, obviously Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, they're actually telling them, Khalas, move on, guys. Let's do something. Let's negotiate. Because if they think that Jerusalem will not be the capital of Israel, and they would demand all the time Jerusalem, they're not going to get anything. Jerusalem is not. It's not going to go anywhere. It's going to be the capital of the capital city of Israel. So they need to move on. So they have now a huge decision to make. And the huge decision to make is to go to the negotiation, starting from there, to eventually get a state. What was the first question?
I just wanted to know, do you really believe there will be peace in 50 years, in 20 years? Real peace, what I'm talking about, the same as you, Yoseph, is happy to sit here discussing as a friend. Do you think they will be our friends and they will all be on one page?
When the Israeli Arabs will be part of taking decisions, as I said, then I will tell you, yes, we can see it. I can see it. Not just me. But this is the step. And that's what we're working on right now. We are working on going towards partnership. And not partnership, actually, to be as Israelis. Not to, look, it's very important for me to something. I'm not talking about mixing traditions. No. Everyone keep their tradition, keep their religion, traditions, and everything. I'm just talking about being Israelis. I'm just talking about the Israeli Arabs being. You know what I expect, for instance? I expect in an official office to have a 20% employers Israeli Arabs, because we are 20% of the population. When you go to the police, in terms of commanders, I expect to have 20%, at least 20% commanders from the Israeli Arabs. When we will do that, and when we'll be in these positions, then, my friend, I will tell you for sure, we can see the beginning of the peace process. That we've got, actually, the peace in the process.
So you understand that the way to get the people in Ramallah to accept us is through the people in Fahim and Nazareth. That is the way in.
Here, guys, here, 100%.
Absolutely.
Only here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gershon.
Thank you, guys.
you.
Yeah, it's nice to see some people. Now, we have a question here from Samantha in London.
Yeah.
She's got a question. I'm just reading it. Why is it that the Israeli Arabs are safe to work in Jewish areas, to go to Israeli hospitals, etc., but we would be petrified and unsafe to go to Arab areas? There are loads of warning signs that keep us out, making it clear we wouldn't make it out alive.
Okay, guys. Let's clarify a huge thing. You're talking about Palestinians, not Israeli Arabs. There's no such thing as this in the Israeli Arabs' villages and cities. You will not see a sign telling you not to come and enter. So let's separate this. Going to Palestine, guys, I could understand. There are Palestinians, okay. They could
look at the screen here. Can you clarify for us?
Okay.
Mokhi wants to know, can you explain the difference between Palestinians, yeah, you can see, and Israeli Arabs?
I can see, I saw it, yeah. So, in Israel, there is 20% of the population of the Israelis are Israeli Arabs. Living in Israel, they're having an Israeli passport. Living in north of Israel, central of Israel, mixed cities like Haifa, Lod, Akko, okay? Learning in Beersheba, in Tel Aviv, and we are talking about 1.9 million. And they are divided to 1.5 million Muslim Israeli Arab, 145,000 Christian Israeli Arab, 140,000 Druze Israeli Arab, and 130,000 Bedouin Israeli Arab. Those are Israelis, okay? Having full rights to vote, to go, to travel, to work. They have a social insurance number, which is Bituach Leumi, everything, okay? The difference between us and the Jewish, one thing, we don't serve in the army, they serve in the army. That's it. That's the only thing. Otherwise, we pay taxes, arnona, whatever you want, everything. That's the Israeli Arabs, about 2 million of them. And then there is 2 million Palestinians in Gaza controlled by Hamas, terrorist organization. And there is 1.6 million in the West Bank. Okay? West Bank is divided to 3 territories, A, B, and C. While A is fully controlled by the PLO, and it's actually a Palestinian area, and over there you would see the sign, don't enter, it's very dangerous. On B, it is a mixed areas where it's actually half Palestinian Authority, half IDF, Israeli Authority, and on C, it's fully Israeli Authority. Now that we clarified this, I would tell you, I'm as an Israeli Arab, I don't want to enter any of those areas of B and A when they are controlled by terrorists. And that's why Israel put that sign. But when we are talking about coming to Nazareth, to Shfa'amer, even, you know what? There is a lot of misleading conception about even Al-Fahim. Go to Al-Fahim. See the hospitality that you will get. They will give you anything you want. Anything. The hospitality is amazing. The welcoming. You will get the best knafe. You will get the best treats, cheaper prices, and nobody will attack you. In Nazareth, a few hours ago, I was hosting people that came from Jerusalem, Jewish. And they were moving and said, oh my God, there's more Jewish than Arabs in Nazareth right now. So please, stop this, okay? It's important. Arabs, Israelis, and Jewish Israelis can go wherever they want in Israel, and they can have totally safe life. Okay. As for the Palestinians, I'm telling you, I don't want to go there. They are controlled by
I think that's fascinating for us to see, because sometimes people do from the outside, again, put everyone together. I mean, we get this to Jewish people as well. You know, one person says something and someone says, oh, every Jewish person must think that. It sounds like from what you're saying then that you maybe identify yourself more with the Israelis, whether they're Jewish or Arab, than you do with those people who are Palestinians, whether it's Hamas or living on the West Bank, etc.
It's not even a question. I'm not a Palestinian. I'm an Israeli Arab. It's not a question, guys. I am an Israeli Arab. I have an Israeli identity. I was born in Haifa. I was born in Israel. From day zero, I have my ID. I have my passport. This is my country, guys. This is and again, the majority thinks like this, but they will not speak it out loud. And I'll tell you more than that. Go and speak and go ask this question. How do you feel about Israel? Do you feel Israeli? If you are with 20 people together, they would say, no, Palestinian. Divide them and ask one by one. Oh, of course, we're Israelis.
Fascinating, Yosef. You know, so much of what you said was interesting. But I have to say, so many times I have, debates about Israel, peace, and this, and I just feel like it's a chance for me to express my stress. And it depends if I'm arguing with a Palestinian, then he's expressing his stress. But there's actually nothing new. It's just like we're really shouting over each other. And I think tonight you really shared something new. And I really hope, we'll be sharing the Nobel Prize soon, because I like the concept, and it was something new to share with everyone. So I want to say on behalf of everyone watching,
I have to tell you something before we finish, because it is a very important thing. I think it will take me only 1 minute. This next story will clarify a lot of things in terms of racism and anti-Semitism, because both of those, anti-Semitism and racism, are coming from ignorancy, huge ignorancy. And those examples that I'm going to give you are going to clarify everything for you guys. I went and I spoke in high school here in Nazareth, Arabic high school. Now, if you go and search my name in Google, you will get a lot of things about me. So when I entered the school, this kid comes to me, barely 18, shake my hands, and he says, you know what? I Googled you, and I want to tell you are a traitor. You love Jews more than you love your own people, and all Jewish are racists. I asked him one question. How many Jewish friends you have? You want to guess what his answer was?
None.
0. I asked him how many times you came in an interaction with a Jewish person. And no. McDonald's to go by in the counter doesn't count as an interaction. So he said, none. I said, sit down. Listen to my lecture. 1 hour later, he approached me and he said, I'm sorry. And then I told him, come to my organization and see how we are working. Today, he volunteers in my organization.
Wow.
On the other hand, I went to a pre-military school talking to pre-military students. It's something that is in Israel. Before you go to the army, you go to a pre-military school. Same thing, guys. Same thing. They came to me. He came to me and he said, I Googled you. I don't care what you did to my country. All Arabs are terrorists. And for me, then he added this sentence, a good Arab is a dead Arab. I asked him a simple question. How many Arab friends you have? He said, no, you're the first Arab I'm actually speaking to. I said, sit down. After I finished speaking, he came to me, he hugged me, and he said, I spoke out of ignorance, I'm sorry. Guys, today, he's volunteering in our organization. This is the whole story, guys. Point. And now you can finish.
Amazing.
What a way to finish on there. I mean, Rick Cohen, Yosef, could you just tell us what your Facebook group is called before?
It's actually my name, Yoseph Haddad, and the website of our organization, it's B, the middle line, azz.org, or you can just look for us on Google, which is Together Vouch for Each Other. And as it's written in the screen, Yoseph Haddad, it's YOSEPH, and then HADDAD. I do write a lot in English, so you can follow me and you can see a lot of our activities. We do have some amazing programs coming ahead regarding to Hasbara and regarding to inside activities between Jewish people, Jewish Israelis and Arab Israelis. So stay tuned. It's going to be
amazing. We could go on forever, Yosef. This has been incredible. It's been educational, like you said, battling that ignorance on both sides, I have to say. And thank you so much for joining us.
It was a pleasure, guys. Love the energy.
Thank you. So do we.
Guys,
have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. Wow. You definitely learn a lot of things doing this job, hey?
Yeah, I have to say it was eye-opening. You get to a point sometimes when you think you know it, you think you know the arguments, and it was a new, I'm going to have to sleep on this one and really think it over.
Yeah, fascinating. Okay, I just want to thank everyone who did send in questions. I'm sorry we didn't get round to more of them. I know there were a lot of them that came in by text and email and that sort of thing. So please do contact Yosef directly through his Facebook page. I'm sure he'll be delighted to hear from you. And join us again. We'll be here in 2 weeks' time for another fascinating guest, another close encounter. Have a good night.
Good night.